It's your Friday Rewind, and I'm going to open up by asking for advice. Every morning when I think I've had enough to talk about, I listen to something else and like, oh my God, this person's an idiot. How can you be saying these things for people? Anyway, my point is, how much time should I spend refuting stupidity? I feel like the people on my channel are a higher intelligence level than those that might enjoy Gil's Arena. So, am I wasting your time if I go back and try to explain why something that should be obvious? So real quick, before I get to the rest of it, LeBron travels so much that I can't really stop a different video to talk about it. If I'm trying to point out his BS steals or BS blocks or BS assists or whatever it is, I'll never get anywhere if I stop to talk about traveling or offensive fouls. So you guys understand that when you tell me, hey, you missed this travel here or you missed this travel there, it's not that I missed it and it's not that I'm ignoring you. At some point I just have to be like, okay, well, this is the way it is now. I mean, it's endless content if I were to talk about LeBron's traveling. Which, by the way, means even more turnovers to add to the turnover video that I'll do someday when I hire a staff of 1,000 people to count his actual turnovers. For those of you who enjoyed my video breaking down LeBron's defensive stats, I want to reiterate, relatively speaking, this was harder than trying to pick on LeBron for some other things, such as inflated assists, inflated rebounds, or maybe what will end up being the worst one is going and seeing how many turnovers he should actually be recorded for. All of you that are subscribers to my channel know that the numbers are going to be ridiculous. So I started with, like I said, something that was relatively more challenging. Most of us don't think about LeBron for his defense at all, except for a few highlights of chase down blocks. Usually LeBron is celebrated for his points, or they even say that he's, this great passer. My point being, I don't know how many people even spend time worrying about how many blocks or steals LeBron was falsely credited with compared to how off the charts he was falsely credited with the other categories that I mentioned. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there in case you were wondering why I didn't talk about those stats. They're almost too easy. I will get to it, but you can imagine the size of that project considering how many times he's been credited with offensive stats that he doesn't deserve. My girlfriend says to me, ESPN says LeBron played well in the Olympics. And this was following the Serbia game. And I half laughed, half cried, as I usually do when LeBron James comes up. And I had seen the highlights. And it's not just that LeBron's doing the same old shit, getting some opportunistic layups and his bulldozing. It's Steph Curry. It's Steph Curry being a hero. For the first half, at least, it looked like Steph Curry was carrying them. And I was praying this wouldn't happen. I can't even cheer for Team USA because I know what the end result is going to be. If they have success, there's going to be some ridiculous story that it's because LeBron was added to the team, when it's exactly what I thought it would be, and it's other people carrying him. I'm so tired of Curry playing the hero. The Warriors team is pretty pathetic. Now he has to make up for LeBron, and LeBron will get the credit. Ugh. Moving on. Let's see. This morning I heard Anthony McDaniels trying to defend Bronny James. It's so weird to talk about Bronny because it's like I don't really care about Bronny James. It's the media. The media. For example, the defense of Bronny being based on, well, we still don't know, he has potential. Everything's about what might be and what could be. The host says no, we've never seen anything from Bronny to make us think that it would get better later. And McDaniels says, well, he was named to the McDonald's All-American. Dude, this is just like LeBron James continuously being named to NBA, all NBA teams when he doesn't deserve to be. So that people can point back at a piece of paper and say, well, look, see, how can he be bad if he's named to this team or that team? He didn't deserve it. LeBron didn't deserve it. Bronny didn't deserve it. And you easily manipulated, or maybe you're just willingly playing the game, people, in this case, Antonio McDaniels, saying dumb things. You're acting like the puppet, dancing the way the puppet master wants you to dance. McDaniels did this on The Odd Couple, too. He was like, well, if nobody was interested in Bronny, why did Rich Paul have to call teams and tell them not to draft him? Oh, you idiot. Once again, you puppet. You puppet. Tell me about these phone calls. Tell me about the necessity of these phone calls. Let me hear the recordings of these phone calls. This is exactly what Rich Paul wanted idiots like you to say. Providing proof that doesn't even exist. Oh, he clearly was desired because I said I called teams. Yeah. The teams that he called, if he called them on the other line, were like, who is this? And why are you calling?
Hello? Who's there? I'm talking. Hello?
Who is this? Baxter? Is that you? Baxter! Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee. Is this Will Chamberlain?
Have the courage to say something. Hello? Hello?
Somewhere in the conversation, Gary Payton II was brought up. I guess because his dad was an NBA player, it's really not comparable the way that they entered the league and the way that they earned what they got. That's not comparable. But here's where it's really not comparable. After the Warriors won in 2022 and that off season, they made some moves. And I called in to the Bay Area local sports radio 95.7 The Game, and I was irate. I have this recorded. Because they got rid, they lost Gary Payton II, and they lost Porter Jr. And I know people don't know who Porter Jr. is, but you know what GP2 and Porter Jr. had in common? They didn't look scared, and they performed well in the moments. Gary Payton II has a gear, a speed, an athletic level, whatever you want to call it, that he goes to that makes these other NBA guys look slow. I remember, I said this on the show, I watched him take the ball from people in full stride, like they weren't even dribbling. I've seen him block dudes bigger than him by far. I've seen him dunk on dudes bigger than him by far. He's not scared, and his face never looked scared. You know who always looked scared was Klay Thompson, and they gave him an extension after 2022. And Draymond fucking piece of dog shit Green. So yeah, Aldo Porter Jr., is he a star? No, but you know what? He hit the shots when the ball came to him. Now I'm ranting about the 2022 offseason. But this is all because of trying to bring Gary Payton II in. I'll take Gary Payton II over Bronny a million freaking times. Are you kidding me? I'll take GP2 over Bronny James every single time. Some people are arguing that, hey, some people in Summer League looked better after Summer League. Some people that looked good in Summer League didn't look good later. Yep. Okay. You can go down the list of everyone who's ever gone through Summer League and endlessly debate on this. You know what the difference was? The guaranteed 4-year contract for someone who had not yet shown anything, even prior to Summer League, that deserved a 4-year guaranteed contract. That's the end of the discussion. I don't care if Bronny ends up having some great games in Summer League. I don't care if he gets worse in Summer League. Nobody gets a 4-year guaranteed contract based on no clear evidence that they can deliver on that. So what's the other defense of Bronny James? It's that other players aren't doing well in the Summer League either. Why aren't you talking about them? Why aren't you criticizing them? I don't know. Maybe because you haven't shoved them down our throats? Maybe because you haven't even mentioned them? Maybe because we don't even recognize their names because you were so busy telling us about this no talent who didn't even deserve to go 55th. All we've been hearing about is this idiot. I'm sorry. Now I'm being mean to Bronny again. It's just instinctive. LeBron James caused us to have to hear about this dude. And now that we're looking at the guy that you keep talking to us about, and we say, well, he doesn't look very good. Now we're the bad guys? You're the media. You have the control, as much as I hate to admit it. Put some other players on the screen and talk about them. And then maybe we will criticize them. Haven't even heard of these other draft picks because of you guys. So Reddick goes on XM and talks about Lou Dort and says, hey, we think that someday Bronny can be like that. Man, how long are we going to talk about potential? You know you can apply that to just about anybody, especially if you're willing to be as patient as these guys are probably going to be with Bronny. You know, just keep dumping time and resources into him, and eventually you'll get a couple of good games out of him. Who would that not apply to? Who would that not apply to? That eventually at some point you'll get something. It won't be worth the investment, but you'll be able to say, hey, look, he had a good defensive stint there. Man, come on. I mean, honestly, you're making arguments for Bronny James that you can make for just about anyone that's ever been decent at basketball. They're weak arguments. I'm already several minutes in, and I haven't done the super thanks, which is what I said on Wednesday during my live show with Sports and Fitness Rants. That's what I said I was going to do today, because I don't see the super chats for some reason, and I apologize to everybody for that. So let's start reading them, starting in recent history and going backward. All right, so this is from the live show. I sent about 50% of this on to Sports and Fitness Rants. Appreciate him being on the show. I know you guys appreciate him being on the show too, so spreading that wealth a little bit. Ed Frank says, with a $5 super chat, what do you think of the new female coach hired by the Lakers there to help JJ Redick's racist narrative? I didn't even know. Oh, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Oh, man. Yeah, well, without me reading about it, that sounds like a pretty good reason to do it. But you know what? No matter what the ethnicity of the person in question is, I don't want to jump to any conclusions because society is rewarded for blaming and pouting to the extent that it wouldn't even have to be true for someone to say it. I'm not saying JJ didn't drop a racial slur, and I'm not saying that he did. I just don't know. But to your point, yeah, that probably would help with his image, as long as she doesn't turn on him. Wait, is she black? Female? I guess, yeah. I mean, not that a white female couldn't have his back, but if he was in trouble for his racial slur, then if they really want to double down on that, then she should have not been white and been female. Okay, so compare health, life, and death. I thought you changed your name to Brotherly Love or something like that. Anyway, $20. Yes, 91 Lakers were the last iteration of Showtime and were actually better combo of two-way play from both Divac and Sam Perkins shooting lights out for three. Don't forget about Sam Perkins, Jordan's college and USA teammate. Yeah, and Eldon Campbell, and there were several other guys on that team that ended up being in the NBA for a long time on competitive teams. You know, just because there's change doesn't always mean that it's bad. So thank you for that comment. Uncommon Sense dropped in. If you guys missed that, that was nice to have Uncommon call. Wow, $20. Thank you, sir. I am now convinced LeBron James never wanted to win like Michael Jordan or be an actual competitor like MJ. He only wanted the praise that Michael Jordan had and still has. Shout out to everyone on the panel. Yeah, it's hard to argue. We talked about it on the show. At the risk of being redundant, we'll go over it a little bit. I am now convinced LeBron James never wanted to win like Michael. He just wanted the praise. Look, he got a taste of that praise early, and he was told that he was the greatest early. That could hurt your trial by fire character. You know, if you never had to really earn it, and you're getting the praise already. Yeah, that could possibly have even applied to Michael Jordan. You know, he was raised differently and from an earlier time. But let's say that MJ got too much credit too soon. Let's say that his coaches didn't say, hey, you got to earn it or something like that. Maybe MJ wouldn't have been MJ. But yeah, the what might have been conversations are kind of worthless. MJ was who he was and LeBron is who he is. And that's what we're dealing with. And that's why we defend MJ, because of his character. And that's why we're disgusted with LeBron James, because of his lack of character. I wanted to bring up DNA. No, we did talk about DNA, whether or not someone has that competitive killer winner mentality in their DNA. And it would have ruined the flow of the conversation, but I just wanted to, I'll ask you guys, you can put in the comments, can you get that character via trial by fire? Does it have to be in your DNA from the beginning, like you're born with it? Or do you think people can go through enough hardships, and as long as they are the type of person who's willing to crawl out of it and keep trying, can they be that person? Or do you also have to have had it in your DNA from the first place to reach the level of Michael Jordan? I'm not talking about general success. I'm talking about to reach his level. Armando Ruiz, $4.99. Thank you. Remember the Chappelle Haters Ball? Yeah, we talked about this on the show. I've entered that realm of my life. I literally stay up or go out of my way to watch these dudes clown themselves. Hey, I hate to be a pawn of the media, but I guess we're doing what they want us to do. They're keeping a conversation going. Rarely is it about greatness on the basketball court anymore, unfortunately. It's a trap. The mornings that I listen to any of these shows that other people have done, I immediately have days worth of material just to talk about how ridiculous their takes are. Is that worth my time? Is that the best use of my time? I mean, none of this is the best use of my time. But in terms of having a basketball channel, how much time, I struggle with this every day. How much time am I going to spend trying to point out how stupid stupidity is versus just going and looking at basketball? Steam Engine, thanks for calling in. And thank you for the $4.99. Brown, talking about Jaylen Brown, had the guts to stand up to institutional racism, but he tucked his tail on this tweet. He showed his true colors. Man, it was so disturbing. We talked about this for a long time on the show. It's just so disturbing. Why can't people have an opinion? I said on the show, it's like he didn't badmouth anyone. It was like a basketball scout watching a basketball player and say, no, I don't think he's pro material. Are we going to reach the point to where basketball scouts aren't allowed to tell the truth? I guess basketball scouts don't even matter anymore because you can just force a kid into the NBA, whether he deserves to be there or not. Oh boy, we are living in some weird times, just basketball wise. I don't even have to get into the other weird shit that's happening. Black Rida style ENT. That was just like one syllable too many for me to try and follow. What's the ENT at the end? Black Rida Stylent. Okay. $5. Love seeing this. AOH, SNFR, great collab. Thank you. We enjoy it too. Hopefully we'll get to keep doing it as long as our schedules align. But yeah, it's a good thing. Willie Williams, $2. Thank you. Bronny is LeBron if he wasn't 6'8". Yeah. We talked about that a little bit on the show. The absurdity of, again, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Oh, if I was younger, I would have beaten you. If I was bigger, I would have beaten you. If I was better, I would have beaten you. If I was faster, I would have won the race. And maybe the way that Willie is trying to take this is saying that LeBron also is pretty untalented. He just has the size. Except you said he's 6'8". I definitely think LeBron is 6'9". Sometimes I think he looks taller. Lasagna 15, $4.99. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you. Appreciate the super thanks. None of the above 101 with $5. Oh, and we're already past the live show, so we're going into one of my things that I did. Jordan complained. Oh, that was you know what? That was from the last live one, our first time when I just spontaneously did it. That's the Wednesday before. $5, thank you. Shout out to the panel and to you, old man. What's y'all thought on LBJ fan threatening Dreamers pro life over LeBron? Keep cooking. There's so many weirdos out there, and the internet has emboldened people. People say all kinds of crazy stuff online, including the players. They'd rather tweet. These guys have to go see each other on the basketball court and won't say the shit that they say about each other in tweets. That's the world we're living in. So I don't know how seriously to take online threats. You don't really have many consequences, so you can just spew out any stupidity that you want to. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you threaten the wrong person online, there will be consequences. Cash, 1999. Shout out to you guys for holding it down. Born and raised in Chicago and saw MJ's entire career. Dr. J, Kareem, Bird, Moses, Magic, MJ, they all raised the league up. LeBron has cheated, disrespected, and ruined the game. Yeah, what we're really talking about here again is character, style of play, whether or not you were inspired by what you saw. Win or lose. Win or lose. I'd rather watch Jordan lose 20 consecutive games than watch the way that LeBron wins the games that he wins. Get down. $4.99. Thank you. Nick Wright said the Dream Team was overrated because Bird was cooked. Magic was retired, and Barkley, Robinson, Ewing, Malone wasn't in the finals yet. I don't know what the hell people not being in the finals yet has to do with it. There's a shitload of people on USA basketball teams that haven't ever been in the finals. Right. So Barkley sucked. Barkley was murdering it. Robinson, Ewing. Yeah, I keep looking at the old games because they're enjoyable. These were some pretty intimidating athletes out there. I'm afraid that those who don't watch the game have been very influenced by the idea that past players weren't athletic. Wrong. Go and look. You know, and whether Bird and Magic were past their primes or not, you can't say they didn't contribute. Larry Bird was in pain and laying on the ground in between plays. when he got in, he delivered. I think that Larry Bird, if he couldn't have shot at all, and if I recall correctly, he was even saying, hey, man, give some other people more minutes because I'm not what I used to be. But having said that, the moments that he did have, he was playing well. He may have been in pain, but he delivered while he was out there. Gary says, thank you, AOH and SFNR, for all you do. Keep the content coming. Isaiah is a clown. Also beware of Johnny Arnett, the LeBron apologist. Salute, guys. Yeah, I don't know. Met Johnny on the live stream that following Sunday, and I thought he sounded like he had a pretty deep-rooted love for the game and had watched a lot of the old stuff. Somebody said he did that video about Jordan's DPOY stats to get clicks. Well, maybe not, but he broke it down thoroughly. $5 with no comment from JE. Thank you. What is this? Oh, this is going back to the Sunday panel. How did LeBron James pass Kobe? A012345 with $2 says, LeBron, pray Bryce pans out at this point. I guess. LeBron's so delusional. Does any of it matter? Thanos snap feminism. $2. Thank you. What's wrong with yeast infection genes? Shit. I don't know what that... Someone must have said something funny on the panel and I didn't hear it. 24 Rapture Steam Engine with $5 asked, how successful is the USA basketball team going to be in the Olympics with the GOAT and a bunch of over-the-hill superstars? Well, if quote-unquote the GOAT is on the bench, they might do fine. It's really going to depend on the reffing. And I sure hope that the people calling the games aren't the people I'm hearing call the games right now, because it sounds just like the NBA regular season, giving LeBron James praise for walking on 2 feet at this point. Well, I could keep going. It'll take forever. I'll just try and do a better job going forward of making sure to acknowledge these. I'll do it on the Friday weekend review shows if I can't see them during the live show.